Thank you for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari has made a strong case for the leadership and members of the All Progressives Congress to continue to make unwavering sacrifices as well as needful compromises towards forging the unity of purpose as the 2023 general elections draw near. Addressing an extraordinary emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the party, the president warned against imposition of unpopular candidates for elections and the tendency to develop cliques. We will bring you details subsequently in the course of the bulletin. As Nigeria is preparing for 2023 general elections, political parties are advised to follow the tenets of democracy while choosing their candidates for true federalism. Political stakeholders in Calabar gave the advice while reacting to the issue of consensus arrangements in politics. Udwak Etem reports.
Consensus is said to be an integral part of politics in Nigeria, and encouraging political parties to adopt the consensus candidates, stakeholders noted that such arrangement reduces costs and acrimony, as well as promoting unity among members of a political party.
So many people will always aspire to occupy very few positions. And if you allow everybody to aspire like that, party members should insist on the processes of electing their leaders. By such process, let it be clear that the people hold the mandate of the people. If there are 100 people, if 51 votes for you, you won by simple majority by the laws of the land.
They urged political parties to be guided by democratic acts, and if adopting consensus arrangements, it should be an agreement of all members of the political parties. In Calabar,
has sworn Usman Isa Manujo and Mohammed Bello Aminu as chairman and secretary of All Progressives Congress APC, Yola South Local Government Area of Adamawa State. Simon Asha captured the moment for NTA News.
That was the order of office and allegiance administered to the chairman and secretary of the All Progressives Congress APC in Yola South Local Government Area of Adamawa State by the legal advisor of the party, Barrister Idris Shaibu. The swearing in, which is sequel to the order of the Adamawa State High Court of Justice, presided over by Justice Abdulrahman Afsat, that the first and the second plaintiffs, Usman Isa Manujo and Mohammed Bello Aminu, having scored the highest number of votes in the 2021 Congress of the party in the state, should be sworn in as the validly elected chairman and secretary of the party in Yola South Local Government Area of the state, respectively.
I feel better and I feel grateful to the party.
I feel very happy for the court, for the ordinary, for a place for ordinary man, and for the party to obey the court order.
The chairman subsequently sworn in the 21 local government executives of the party as he official area. In Yola, Simon Asher and Tini.
Ramadan fast to intensify prayers for a lasting peace and development of the country. The First Lady stated this during the breaking of Ramadan fast in honor of State House correspondent Aliu Kabir has more.
The Ramadan fast, as one of the 5 pillars of Islam, provides opportunity for the intensification of prayers for the fear of Allah, as well as extending good virtues of sharing, forgiveness, love, peace, and sacrifice for the betterment of the Muslim Ummah and the larger society. The gathering of the annual iftar for breaking of Ramadan fast, put together by the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, is a step towards expressing gratitude to God for witnessing this year's Ramadan fast and to collectively use the period to pray for a peaceful nation with optimism of benefiting its bounties.
Fasting Ramadan signifies the unity of mankind as it reflects sharing the pains of hunger and the joy of nourishment. The period of fasting signifies spiritual cleansing while bridging the differences among people, bringing them together to share, understand, and respect each other's religion. In this respect, our coming together this evening offers us the opportunity to collectively offer prayers over the challenges confronting our nation. It's always a joy to come around others. It's an opportunity for her to express and teach her desire for unity among the women. I know it has been a season of fasting and prayer, and all I can say is may all that has been done be accepted by God, and may God reward the sacrifice that everyone has put in to fast.
The wives of the service chiefs, headed by the president of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association and wife of Chief of Army Staff Salamatu Yahya, as well as wives of ministers, expressed gratitude with this gesture and assured the First Lady of their commitment in total devotion and to continue to put in every effort towards ensuring lasting peace in the country.
It's not been an easy time and easy years with the COVID and everything that has happened. I remember last year we couldn't do this. The year before we couldn't do this. But we give thanks to the Almighty that we're here, we're in good health. We're facing another election year. Let us use this opportunity during breaking on fast to pray so that God will give us another good leader that will step into the shoes of our father. She's a very good example.
The Nigerian Petroleum Industry Act was enacted to provide for the legal governance, regulatory and fiscal framework for the Nigerian petroleum industry and development of host communities and other related matters in the upstream, midstream and downstream sector of the petroleum industry. In view of this, stakeholders have gathered to brainstorm on the Industry Act as well as enhance a robust input to make the oil and gas sector more attractive to investors.
You will all agree that effective regulations are key to harnessing the gains of the PIA, and government has a mandate of ensuring sound management of the oil and gas sector, considering the key role this sector plays in the revenue generation profile of the country.
No act driven by human efforts could be perfect. It therefore suffices to say that the PIA may not have addressed all the issues pertaining to host communities to the satisfaction of everyone. But this is a good starting point, and there is always room if
regulation is a statutory prescription and a critical milestone in the implementation of the PIA.
First phase of the stakeholders' engagement captures issues dealing with reality, burning issues and implementation of host fund in line with Section 235 of the Petroleum Industry Act. In Abuja, Umenka Machuku, NT News.
As nations of the world gradually transit from traditional means to this end, the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance and the Africa Coalition for Sustainable Energy Access, in collaboration with Friends of the Earth, are meeting in Abuja to work ways of assisting the government to achieve energy efficiency in the country.
We have to be, as a people, we have to, take to the limelight the presence of renewable energy resources in Nigeria. For instance, solar, hydro, geothermal, and wind. It is present in every state in Nigeria, and I think we can do with renewable energy.
Dumping of renewable energy gadgets on Africa, on Nigeria, must be challenged. And one way we can challenge that is to build citizens' capacities on cleaner renewable technology systems.
We're trying to build human capacity to ensure, that young Nigerians have access, to our training, that is to be able to operate and also maintain solar PV installation.
You're still watching Nationwide. Let's go to Lagos now. First up, where Adeola is standing by. Over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. The closure of the popular Akpongmo Bridge has led to diversion of traffic to the Third Mainland Bridge and other adjoining roads linking the island. These diversions have escalated gridlock and increased hours spent in traffic. It is so bad that many now rely on maps to calculate estimated time and better prepare themselves before hitting the road. Abolade Salami in this report examines the implication of this trend.
The metropolitan city of Lagos, with its growing population, remains Nigeria's commercial nerve center, housing various industries, multinationals, and the most busy seaports. Despite the city's enormous contribution to national development, one major source of concern to all who reside and do business in Lagos is the unending gridlock excess due to many hours spent in traffic.
Normally, if you're driving down 10 Mainland, you will do less than an hour or 45 minutes thereabout. But now, like yesterday or thereabout, people spent as much as 3 hours on 10 Mainland Bridge. And so the traffic is huge.
Although the closure of Akpongmo Bridge is to enable contractors carry out repairs on damaged sections, the shutdown has aggravated the pains and frustration experienced by motorists making their way into the island from the mainland.
The bridge. So I want them to do it quickly so that the traffic will be reduced. So even we people that are passing through the place, we be done. We know that we do it for us. I have been doing it before. So we just want him to do it quickly so that the hold up traffic will be reduced.
To ameliorate the stress people go through on the alternate route, the government is intensifying efforts to ensure speedy repairs.
The contractor wants to do now is to start preparing ground for the repair work that will be carried out so that we open it to traffic.
With repair works in third gear, road users have been charged to comply with regulations and obey traffic personnel to avoid compounding the gridlock. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now let's talk about maritime security. From the list of pirate forces, Hengino John Adams reports.
Another milestone in the Nigerian Navy and Atlantic French naval forces are using their connecting point, the Atlantic Ocean, to strengthen their collaboration towards sanitizing the hydrographic domain, especially the Gulf of Guinea. Their common objectives of ending piracy, trafficking, pollution, and securing the maritime space took prominence in their discussions. Chief Staff Officer, Western Naval Command, who recalled the long-standing relationship between the two forces, requested that Nigeria be made a vessel spare parts hub in the region, as many Nigerian Navy vessels are from France. This, he said, will contribute to the nation's economy, address the issue of delay in repairing vessels, which will in turn foster the fight against maritime crimes.
Nigerian Navy is poised to deal with anybody. No matter how highly placed that person is or that group is, we are ready and we are out and we are prepared to make sure we stamped out
space, not only in Nigeria, but the continent at large. In Lagos, Hengino John Adams, NTA News.
And those are the stories from the zone for now. But don't forget that in Network News, our Twitter handle is at NTA News Now, and on Instagram at NTA Network for updates. We shall take our first break, and when we return, Abubakar Musa in Maiduguri will take it from here.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connected connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the states.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practical skills. Date 4th July to 29th July 2022, 4 weeks. Sports coverage and reporting skills in the mass media. Date 4th July to 15th July 2022, 2 weeks. The course fee for 2 weeks courses is 150,000 naira per participant, while the fee for 4 weeks courses is 180,000 naira only, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA Television College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. NTA Television College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Do you run a breast or cervical cancer service? Are you a private or public laboratory, clinic or hospital that offer any of breast imaging, cervical cancer screening, HPV vaccination, or other breast or cervical cancer services? Is your 3-second breast app and become accessible and visible to millions of Nigerians? It is all for free. To subscribe, just type the Save a Breast application form on Google or go to the OCI Foundation's page on www.ocifoundation.org and search for Save a Breast application form. Complete the form and submit, and let millions of Nigerians patronize you, all for free. Become part of the OCI Foundation's quest to tackle breast and cervical cancers in Nigeria. And join us in Rise by Lifting Up.
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide up to this moment, and this is Maiduguri Network Center. Let's move on the news now by telling you that Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, has launched distribution of relief items to 100,000 residents of Maiduguri Metropolis and neighboring Jere local government areas. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum performed the flag-off ceremony at the premises of the Borno State Mechanical Workshop in Maiduguri, the state capital. Mohammed Goni completes the story.
Governor Zulum made symbolic presentation of a bag of rice for 2,000 male heads of households, while similar number of female beneficiaries got wrappers, 10,000 naira cash support and sugar selected from MMC and Jere local government areas. Beneficiaries ex-population who are yet to get access to their farmland.
Support the less privileged people that are residing in both areas as well as in metropolitan parts.
The governor added that a committee will ensure that all the 100,000 beneficiaries get the relief items, warning that only the vulnerable persons in the two areas are considered for the intervention. State APC Chairman Ali Bukar Dalori stressed that the continued intervention in newly resettled rural communities is to provide returnees with means of sustaining themselves before they are able to resume farming activities. Chairman of Maiduguri Metropolitan Council Ali Bolori called on the beneficiaries to use the commodities for the purpose intended and continue praying for peace across the country. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Away from that, Islamic scholars have been charged to ensure that they carry out preaching and other religious activities in line with laid-down guidelines towards consolidating on the prevailing peace and cohesion in Bori, the Borno State capital. Here are more details of the story.
The meeting, held at the instance of Governor Babagana Umar Zulum and spearheaded by Shehu of Borno, was specifically designed to ensure that Islamic preachers in Borno State do not deviate from acceptable guidelines of preaching during and after the month of Ramadan, as well as Commissioner of Religious Affairs, all harped on the need to scrutinize religious activities, particularly preaching for sustenance of peace and understanding among the diverse ethnic groups across Borno.
We are gaining peace in Borno State. They are doing the wrong thing.
If anybody intending coming from outside or within must get permission duly accepted by the board before started preaching.
While commending the state government for convening the meeting, Shehu of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Garba El-Kanemi said, as custodian of the citizenry, his doors are opened to accept any noble initiative and called on clergies to do what is expected of them. Certain preaching laws were also reviewed during the meeting.
If you're just joining us, you're on to Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Let us at this point return to Lydia in Abuja for more reports for us this evening. So, Lydia.
Thank you, Abubakar. The Nigeria Air Force is to investigate causes of the air crash involving Super Mushak trainer aircraft in Kaduna. Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, said this when he visited Nigeria Air Force Base Kaduna to commiserate with officers and men as well as family of the victims. Haruna Mohammed reports.
The Chief of Air Staff, who is saddened with the incident, said an accident investigation board has been constituted to carry out thorough investigation to unravel mystery behind the crash. He described those who lost their lives as fine officers and prayed for the repose of their soul. Meanwhile, sympathizers have been trooping to the family residence of Flight Lieutenant Abubakar Alkali to commiserate with the family members of his death. Among early callers are military personnel, friends of the deceased and relatives.
It's a sad news, but we know that death is an inevitable end, and we believe that his maker, who loves him better than we do, knows the best time to take him. So we take consolation in that.
The kind of life he lived is very encouraging, and we believe that inshallah God's mercy will be with him.
As Muslims, we have to accept whatever comes from Allah. That's whatever comes, whether it is be it good or be it bad, it comes from Allah. That is how he has decided. That is final.
What we have been receiving afterwards has been good testimonies and good messages from people who know him. So alhamdulillah, that's the only thing we can say. It is his time. And we couldn't have wished for a better brother, for a better officer. Nigeria has missed a gallant officer.
Late Abubakar Alkali, 29, was the last child of his family. Within his short stint with the Nigerian Air Force, he distinguished himself in his chosen profession. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Meanwhile, identities of NAF pilots who died in the crash at 401 FTS NAF base Kaduna during training have been confirmed. Flight Lieutenant Abubakar Alkali and Flight Lieutenant Elijah Karatu were both students and not instructors, as earlier reported. The two officers were among 9 pilots who returned from Pakistan in April 2021 following a 6-month training in basic flying, among other courses. Nigeria has experienced 11 military plane crashes with no fewer than 33 military officers perishing between 2015 and 2021, and losing air platforms including F-7N jet and Augusta Westlanders on board in Abuja on the 21st of February. The Alpha jet, which went off radar on the 21st of March, and another which crashed in Zamfara while supporting troops. 2021 also witnessed the crash of the NAF jet conveying Nigeria's 25th Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 10 other officers on Bina, and commiserated with